I feel bad for all the Blue Exorcist fans that waited 7 years for this, and this was not good. This was not good. And truth be told, a lot of it had to do with the quality of the adaptation. This adaptation had a lot of problems. It was a different studio from the previous ones, and I'm guessing it also had less budget, probably. But it also does inherit a lot of puzzling story decisions from the manga, and the story is going in a sort of weird direction for this arc. So let's get into Blue Exorcist Season 3, the Illuminati arc. And obviously, unlike my usual videos, this will be a spoiler review, so I will be telling spoilers for the entirety of Season 3. I don't think it really matters because this is a third season of a show that came out in 2011, so I don't think that anyone that doesn't know at least what Ano Exorcist is going to click on this video. Anyway, as much as it breaks my heart, I must do this video, but fortunately for me, my heart can no longer be broken after Shaman King, so let's get right into it. The first plot point that I want to talk about is Shima's betrayal, what is perhaps the biggest plot twist not only in this season, but in the series as a whole. And in my mind, it legitimately had a lot of potential to be a great storyline, and yet it was squandered at the end for no good reason at all. Having Shima betray the rest of the students is very unexpected because he never really seemed power hungry or self-centered in any way. The usual suspects for a storyline like this would likely be Yukio, Bon, or Izumo. Those would be the most expected choices, so this comes as a bit of a surprise. Having a character like Shima have this villainous betrayal was legitimately surprising, and I think that as we got to know the character, we slowly understand that his carefree attitude has some sort of dark twist to it, and this is very interesting. So it baffles me and it legitimately irritates me that at the end of the final episodes in this season, they just threw it away completely, and I don't understand why. Shima betrays the Exorcist to go to the Illuminati. But then the Illuminati sends him back to the Exorcist so that he can spy on them. What? Does the author understand how spies work? The entire point of being a spy is to not get your cover blown. Because if you get your cover blown and both sides know you're a spy, then you're not trustworthy. And if you're not trustworthy and the information that gets to you is filtered and your agency is limited, then you're effectively not a spy. You're just a shady dude. Legitimately, this has got to be the frontrunner for one of the stupidest plot points I've seen in a long while. And obviously my perspective is biased because I don't really try to watch bad anime or stupid anime. I know some people like to hate watch stuff, and that's fine. I do that for Shield Hero only, but really this plot point was just very confusing and it makes no sense. I was astonished when Shima came back like, tee I'm a spy guys, but I'm back, hee it's just so dumb. And the funny thing about this is, I read the manga a few years ago, and I had no memory of this at all, so this plot point was so bad that my memory just erased it completely. I'm going to do a bit of speculation here. Keep in mind this isn't anything that I've read, it's just me trying to guess, but I think that either A, the author regretted making Shima a villain and kind of walked back the plot point, or B, one of her editors or whoever has decision-making power in the story just said, no, this is not going to do well with the sales, so let's walk this back, and that's what they did. But unfortunately, when it comes to a plot point like this, once you do it, you just have to commit, because by walking it back, it just makes everyone, including the characters, look super silly. Then there's the whole Kamiki storyline, which was getting built up throughout the episodes. Okay, I'm enjoying this, and when it was finally starting to cook, it just ended. What? Did I skip an episode? What's going on? This season kept building up Kamiki's childhood and her backstory and her relationship with her mother and how she tries to shoulder everything by herself, maybe also to protect her little sister, and it was being quite interesting. And in one of the episodes, her mother just saves her and then pieces out, and that's done with, and everything was just so sudden it didn't give time to a good storyline to properly breathe. This season's pacing feels like somebody was driving a car and then sneezed all of a sudden and just pressed on the accelerator, because it's truly abysmal. And I've read the manga a few years ago, so I can't remember if this is a problem that carried over from the manga, but at least on the anime, I think they should have smoothened it out a little bit, and the pacing for the anime is just not super great. Oh, and speaking of rushed plot points, there is Rin's inner conflict with fighting humans, which is actually very interesting. This has been a constant theme throughout the show. He's part demon, but he's also part human, and he seems to have a very strong moral compass about what to do. And once again, a plot point is seeming very good, very interesting, getting built up throughout the season, and then in one of the episodes, Rin just goes, meh, flame go boom, and that's it, and the plot point is just never addressed again, and it's so bizarre. I cannot stress this enough. This season, it feels like the author was writing some pretty good stuff, and she was cooking, and for some reason she had to step away for a bit, and then the intern that doesn't know what he's doing just came in and finished it for her. It's just so weird. Also, and I know some of you will say this is a nitpick, I personally don't think so, as he's super relevant throughout this season, but what is effectively the main villain of this season, Gedoin, is just probably one of the worst villains I have seen in a while, and his character design is just way too goofy for anyone to take seriously. The double chin, the comically tiny glasses, the curly hair, the facial hair, or at least attempt at facial hair, it's just, I can't take this seriously. Even his personality is Shield Hero levels of cheesy, but I could get past that. But the design is just so cartoony. I was hoping for Bugs Bunny to come on at any point because it couldn't get any goofier. Truly, if the series doesn't take itself seriously, especially when it's trying to have this high-stakes emotional storyline, then I can't take it seriously either. Then there's minor plot questions that I have, which maybe are addressed in the manga, or maybe not, or maybe it's just me, I was just sort of checked out at some point, because in this world we have established there are teleporting doors, and at the end the Kyoto branch comes in to help. So why didn't they get any help? Why is it up for this class of not even graduated exorcists to go in and save this girl from this terrible evil organization? It doesn't really make much sense to me, and we know that Mephisto is planning and scheming behind the scenes, but really they couldn't get any help. It has to be up to the students that are just, you know, immature teenagers. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Honestly, I was shocked when I read that this is some people's favorite arc, because it's been a few years and obviously my memory isn't super fresh, but from what I remember, the Kyoto arc was better than this one in every way. I greatly enjoyed the Kyoto arc, while this one not so much. Especially because, and I know this is more of a personal thing, a lot of people won't resonate with this, but I love fantasy, it's probably my favorite genre, and I wasn't super thrilled with the sort of flavor shift between fantasy from the previous Kyoto arc to the more, I guess, sci-fi-ish theme with the labs and experiments and stuff. Just not a huge fan. I don't mind sci-fi, but I love fantasy so much that the tone shift, or should I say theme shift, from the previous arc to this one didn't leave me super thrilled, I guess. But that's more of a personal thing. As much as it pains me, I don't really have too many positive things to say about this season, which, you know, I have this sort of nostalgic attachment to series that I started watching as a teenager, so this does sting a little bit, but let's see, I guess the opening was good. Overworld plus Auno Exorcist is always good, and you know, after so many years it was cool to see the crew back, because there are some characters here that I enjoy and I think are characters that have potential. In fact, I think a lot of the characters here could be quite interesting given the proper time and storylines, but everyone just feels so underutilized and underwhelming. It seems like a waste. I saw this season wasn't too well received online. A lot of people were especially criticizing the character designs, but to be quite honest, I am very, very forgiving when it comes to things like that. For example, this season I quite enjoyed Ishura because its story and characters started intriguing me, especially towards the end, even though the animation is mid at best, and I'm being very forgiving here. So yeah, if this arc's story and pacing was properly adapted and well developed, I would have overlooked the lack of budget in different studio and perhaps weird-ish character designs, but unfortunately the story just wasn't it. To me, me, the best parts of Aono Exorcist are its interpersonal relationships, the tension between the two brothers, the inner conflict that Rin has, especially because of what happened to his father. Is he a demon? Is he a human? This whole narrative that happens surrounding him, the tension between the classmates, the political drama in the True Cross Order, whose side is Mephisto truly on? Those are the most interesting things in this show by a mile. And to me, the biggest problem with this series is that it has a huge identity crisis where it mistakenly thinks that it's a battle shonen when it's just not, and instead of focusing on the things that are truly interesting, it keeps forcing these battle scenarios and these shonen-esque tropes that, to be quite honest, aren't anywhere near as interesting, and the show isn't really quite good at them. The fights in Aono Exorcist aren't super compelling, they're not really strategic or inventive. Most of the time it's just Rin just flaming harder, and even the power system, if we're being quite honest, isn't really prone to giving us super awesome fights. The power system is all over the place, like one dude shoots a bazooka, the other prays, and there's a girl that has a spirit that summons trees. It really makes it so that a lot of characters feel close to useless in certain battle scenarios. So I don't know why the show keeps forcing itself into these fights and these battles and trying to be some sort of battle shonen when it just isn't. And the thing that the fans like the most about its series is not the battle shonen elements. If Aono Exorcist tilted more towards becoming a fantasy drama and focused on its strengths, its characters, and the various drama between them, and tightened up some of its storylines, like figuring out how spies work, then this could be very good, because I still like some aspects of Aono Exorcist. I think there's a lot of potential here. But instead, for this season, after 7 long years, we focused on a failed betrayal storyline, a double chin fatty straight out of the Looney Tunes, and zombie experiments. From what I saw on the Reddit threads and other posts online, it seems that most people have either forgotten or just stopped caring about Aono Exorcist, but the few people that are left really seem to love it, so I can only hope that these people get the quality adaptation that they so desperately deserve for the next few seasons, if there are any. As for me, I will probably one day finish the manga when it ends. As far as the anime goes, this is where I drop off. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. If you like the season or if you dislike the season, be sure to leave it in the comments below, and ciao!